my name is Jenna and today I'm going to be talking about the books that are still to be released by the end of this year that I would like to read. There are 7 books on this list, 4 of which are being released in October, 3 of which are being released in November, and there's nothing really coming out in December that I care enough about that I want to desperately read, or at least nothing I can think of that's coming out in December. I don't know, I know not a lot of books usually come out in December anyway. So we are going to jump right into the books that are releasing by the end of the year that I would like to read. So first up we have Cursed by Thomas Wheeler. This one has actually already been released. It was released on the 1st of October and it is a soon-to-be Netflix original series and it is a Merlin retelling, which is something that I absolutely love. I'm gonna read you guys the blurb because honestly in this sort of situation it's just easier for me to read you the blurb rather than me trying to figure out what's going on. So, the Lady of the Lake is the true hero in this cinematic twist on the tale of King Arthur created by Thomas Wheeler and legendary artist, producer and director Frank Miller, because apparently that's important for us to know. Featuring 8 full color and 30 black and white pieces of original artwork by Frank Miller. That's kind of cool. Whosoever wields the sword of power shall be the one true king. But what if the sword has chosen a queen? Nimue grew up an outcast. Her connection to dark magic made her something to be feared in her druid village, and that made her desperate to leave. That is, until her entire village is slaughtered by red paladins, and Nimue's fate is forever altered. Charged by her dying mother to reunite an ancient sword with a legendary sorcerer, Nimue is now her people's only hope. Her mission leaves little room for revenge, but the growing power within her can think of little else. Nimue teams up with a charming mercenary named Arthur and refugee fae folk from across England. She wields a sword meant for the one true king, battling paladins and the armies of a corrupt king. She struggles to unite her people, avenge her family, and discover the truth about her destiny. But perhaps the one thing that can change destiny itself is found at the edge of the blade. How good does that sound? I absolutely love the Arthurian legend and I love retellings of it. This one sounds really interesting. I love the idea of Nimue being the hero of this story, although it does sort of sound like with this growing darkness inside her, it does sound like she could still walk the path of the villain, and I absolutely love that. I love this whole not really sure where she stands, getting to see Arthur but he's a mercenary, and the sorcerer obviously is meant to be Merlin, and I'm really excited to read this one. I absolutely cannot wait. Next up we have Fireborn, which is the first in a new series by Rosario Munda. This one is a book that is described as Game of Thrones meets Red Rising. I haven't read Red Rising, but I loved the first 7 seasons of Game of Thrones. So Game of Thrones meets Red Rising in a debut young adult fantasy that's full of rivalry, romance, and dragons. Annie and Lee were just children when a brutal revolution changed their world, giving everyone, even the lowborn, a chance to test into the governing class of dragon riders. Now they are both rising stars in the new regime, despite backgrounds that couldn't be more different. Annie's lowborn family was executed by dragonfire, while Lee's aristocratic family was murdered by revolutionaries. Growing up in the same orphanage forged their friendship, and 7 years of training have made them rivals for the top position in the dragon riding fleet. But everything changes when survivors from the old regime surface, bent on reclaiming the city. With war on the horizon and his relationship with Annie changing fast, Lee must choose to kill the only family he has left or to betray everything he's come to believe in. And Annie must decide whether to protect the boy she loves or step up to be the champion her city needs. From debut author Rosario Munda comes a gripping adventure that calls into question which matters most, the family you were born into or the one you've chosen. How good does that sound? I love the idea of these dragon riders. I love the idea that there are just dragons flying around in this world. That's so cool, and I really like that it's going to be exploring this concept of family you're born into versus the family that you've chosen. So many people nowadays are born into a family that they don't feel like they belong, and they go out and they find friends who become their family, and that's something really important that I love, and I love seeing it explored in novels. I cannot wait. Next up we have Kill Me Once, Kill Me Twice by Clara Kenzie. So this one is sort of a mystery, magical realism, drama, romance kind of novel all shoved into one. It's not something that I would usually read, but the unique blurb really drew me in. Lily Summerhaze remembers how she died in each of her past lives. Eva Abrams does too. Lily is reckless and fearless. Eva is cautious and follows the rules. Lily wants to leave boring rural Ryland and explore the world. Eva wants to stay in quiet, safe Ryland for the rest of her life. Lily was killed 18 years ago while trying to solve her friend's murder. Eva is Lily reborn, and now she will have to break every rule and face every fear to find Lily's killer before he kills her twice. From Clara Kenzie, author of the Rita Award-winning Deception series and the critically acclaimed Aftermath, comes Kill Me Once, Kill Me Twice. A dual timeline, dual romance, dual mystery thriller with a touch of magical realism. I think this is a really unique concept that I'm really looking forward to exploring. I like the idea of having the dual timelines and having the girls both be alive but dead, which sounds so bad. And I'm really curious to see who the killer is and whether or not I can figure it out. I like when I can. I can't, but I like when I can. So next up we have Beyond the Black Door by A.M. Strickland. So in this book, Kamai was warned never to order the Black Door, but she didn't listen. Everyone has a soul. Some are beautiful gardens, others are frightening dungeons. Soul walkers, like Kamai and her mother, can journey into other people's souls while they sleep. But no matter where Kamai visits, she sees the Black Door. It follows her into every soul, and her mother has told her to never ever open it. When Kamai touches the door, it is warm and beating like it has a pulse. When she puts her ear to it, she hears her own name whispered from the other side. And when tragedy strikes, Kamai does the unthinkable. She opens the door. A.M. Strickland's imaginative dark fantasy features court intrigue and romance, a main character coming to terms with her asexuality, and twists and turns as a seductive mystery unfolds that endangers not just Kamai's own soul, but the entire kingdom. I think this one is going to be really interesting, mainly because of the fact that the main character is asexual. That's not something that I've read a lot about in novels, and something that I'm looking forward to reading about in this one. I like the idea of like soul walking, and this Black Door clearly is like a bad juju thing. You know, you open it, you taint someone's soul or something. I don't really know, but I'm really keen to find out. Next up we have Weapon by Lynette Noni. This is the second and final book in the Whispered duology. As such, I'm not going to read out the blurb of Weapon. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but pretty much it follows on from Jane Doe's experiences in Whisper, and it will end her story, and we'll get to figure out all the stuff that happens with all the twists and all the turns. I mean, Whisper had so many twists and turns in it that I had like trouble keeping them all straight in my head. I feel like Weapon is going to be 10 times worse, but in such a good way. Next up we have The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White. I've never read anything from Kirsten White, but when I found out she was doing an Arthurian retelling, I just knew that I had to jump on board. I love the Arthurian legend. Might have already mentioned it in this video, but like I really love it. I love it so much, and I need to read anything about it. Seriously, if you guys have any recommendations of like really good Arthurian legend retellings, let me know please, because I love it and I want to read all of it. So The Guinevere Deception is a new fantasy series reimagining the Arthurian legend set in the magical world of Camelot. There was nothing in the world as magical and terrifying as a girl. Princess Guinevere has come to Camelot to wed a stranger, the charismatic King Arthur. With magic clawing at the kingdom's borders, the great wizard Merlin conjured a solution, sending Guinevere to be Arthur's wife and his protector from those who want to see the young king's idyllic city fail. The catch? Guinevere's real name and her true identity is a secret. She is a changeling, a girl who has given up everything to protect Camelot. To keep Arthur safe, Guinevere must navigate a court in which the old, including Arthur's own family, demand things continue as they have been, and the new, those drawn by the dream of Camelot, fight for a better way to live. And always in the green hearts of forests and the black depth of lakes, magic lies in wait to reclaim the land. Arthur's knights believe they are strong enough to face any threat, but Guinevere knows it will take more than swords to keep Camelot free. Deadly jousts, duplicitous knights, and forbidden romances are nothing compared to the greatest threat of all, the girl with the long black hair riding on horseback through the dark woods toward Arthur. Because when your whole existence is a lie, how can you trust even yourself? Oh, the black hair girl must be Nimue or Morgan or Morgana, like depending on, it could be Morgana. In fact, you know what? It's totally Morgana. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, wow. So this video was turned into me just like fangirling over the Arthurian legend, but oh, it has to be Morgana. Or no, it has to be Morgana, or Morgan, depending on which version they use. But oh, I want to read this book so badly. And then the last book on this list is Crown of Oblivion by Julie Eschbau. Eschbau? I have no idea. I'm so sorry. So Crown of Oblivion was really interesting to me because it kind of sounded like a weird Hunger Games-esque type thing. I don't know. This is the blurb and you'll see what I mean. Astrid is the surrogate for Princess Renya, which means she bears the physical punishment if Renya steps out of line. Astrid has no choice. She and her family are outsiders, the lower class of people without magic and without citizenship. But there is a way out of this life, competing in the deadly race of Oblivion. To enter the race, an outsider is administered the drug Oblivion, which wipes their memory clear of their past as they enter a new world with nothing to help them but a slip of paper bearing their first name and the first clue. It's not as simple as solving a puzzle, however. For a majority of the contestants, the race ends in death. But winning would mean not only freedom for Astrid, but citizenship and healthcare for her entire family. With a dying father to think of, Astrid is desperate to prevail. From the beginning, the race is filled with twists and turns. One of them is Darius, a fellow racer Astrid meets but isn't sure she can trust. Though they team up in the race, as Astrid's memories begin to resurface, she remembers just who he was to her, a scorned foe who may want revenge. Astrid also starts to notice she has powers no outsider should, which could help her win the race, but also make her a target if anyone finds out. With stakes that couldn't be higher, Astrid must decide what is more important, risking her life to remember the mysteries of the past or playing a cutthroat game in order to win her and her family's freedom. It definitely reminds me a lot of the Hunger Games and also kind of Red Queen in a way, but I just think it sounds great and I would love— what is happening here? I think it sounds great and I'm really excited to read it. Thank you guys for watching. That was all of the books that are being released in the last part of this year that I would really love to read. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below if you want to read any of these and also what books that are coming out you are most excited for, because I would absolutely love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.